Someone once told me that if you truly love someone, they'll always love you back. What a load of shit. Someday, you're gonna fall head over heels for someone who thinks you're sort of whatever, may not even notice you. And one day, someone who's loved you will wake up and say, I don't love you anymore. In Korean, the heart is sometimes described as 찢어진. Feel like someone has split open your ribcage, reached in there, taken your heart out, and just ripped it to pieces. You'll spend hours staring into space, you'll refuse to shower or shower too much, start crying while brushing your teeth. That's what love actually looks like. But heartbreak, however much you hate it, and you will hate it, darling, it will force you to do something pretty remarkable. You'll pick up all those pieces and you'll stitch them back together until you're actually more beautiful than you were before. Because the heart is a muscle, babe. And like every other muscle in your body, it needs to be tested before it can become strong. Have some. So when you get dumped, they're gonna say things like, he wasn't good enough for you anyway, she was stupid. This is a blessing in disguise. Let's cut through the bullshit. It sucks to lose somebody that you felt so connected to. You see, when you love someone, whether for 5 minutes or 5 years, they have the power to bring out the best in you. So when that person stops loving you, you're not just mourning the loss of that person, but you're mourning the loss of the person you used to be when they were with you. They say live your best life. But the truth is, we're all looking for that one person who lets us live our best self. You may feel wrung out and squeezed right now, but your grief is actually a testament to the thing that makes you so precious, your vulnerability. Now, love may bring out the best in you, but here's the thing, babe. The best in you has been in there all along, and it will be there when you finally find someone who's worth only the very best. When you get hurt, they say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Don't listen to that shit. Sometimes the things that don't kill you can actually make you weaker. Some hurts are so big you'd rather hide in a hole forever than ever get hurt again like that. You start second guessing yourself, you don't go outside because nobody gets you, you binge watch Netflix. Now, I'm not saying you have to forgive the ones who hurt you. No, fuck them. They don't deserve your forgiveness. But you know who does? The person who once loved them. The person who let them past the guardrails in the first place. You. Because here's the thing. You have a choice. You can let those betrayals cling to you, weigh you down, or you can peel them off. Because you are not their failures. You are not your heartbreak, and you are not defined by your pain. Even though your pain makes you weak, it's your choices that make you strong. 고구마 먹어. They say that time heals all wounds. They're lying. Some wounds will never, ever heal. Like when somebody dies, when one of your parents walks out the door and doesn't look back, when someone cheats on you, abandons you, or even violates you. You lie in bed for days, you won't pick up the phone, start asking yourself what you could have done different. Now, you can wait for time to heal you, or you can decide that you don't need to be healed. Because fuck them. If the wounds want to stick around, you tell them here today, stay. Because you're gonna find the courage to laugh again with the hurt. And you're gonna find the power to love again with the hurt. And one of these days, you're gonna realize they don't hurt so bad anymore. Not because time healed them or even because you healed them, but because you found the strength to live with them. And just like all those wounds that won't go away, the strength you found to bear them, that won't ever go away either. Have some focaccia. Your parents are supposed to protect you, make you feel safe. But one day, probably earlier than you'd like, you're going to be asked to protect them. Is it fair? Probably not. But I'm not here to talk about what's fair. It'll start out with something small, like translating a letter from the bank, calling customer service for them. And I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna resent them for putting you in that position. And maybe you don't have the best relationship with them to begin with. But here's the thing. Life has specifically equipped you for this challenge. Because right now, our ammas and our appas, our halmonis and our harabajis, they need us to brandish our English words like swords, to defend them in a way that they can't, in a way that only you can. So, take everything you've ever felt, everything you know about being different, about translating not just those letters, but the entire fucking world for them, and make them feel safe. Because they're counting on you. And so am I. When something really bad happens, someone will inevitably say, you need to toughen up. You're making too big a deal out of it. You'll start questioning yourself. Maybe things aren't as bad as they seem, or maybe I am blowing things out of proportion. The worst is when they ask you to forgive the person who hurt you, as if somehow they know the borders of your pain better than you do. But here's the thing, babe. No one gets to tell you how you should respond when it's your heart that's been injured. There's no such thing as crying too much or crying too little when you've lost someone precious to you, when you feel unsafe, when you feel targeted. You're allowed to cry over the little things, like a list of names. You're allowed to get angry when you feel invisible, and you're allowed to feel absolutely nothing at all when it's preferable to despair. Because you see, the people who are telling you to toughen up, they're actually trying to make you weak. They're trying to take away your power, so don't you let them. Don't you dare let them. Because the toughest thing you could ever do is to ignore their voices and listen to your own. Hindi to ka na mogo. Someday, you're gonna like someone who doesn't like you back. And every day is going to be a battle between two thoughts. Maybe I should just move on, or maybe today is the day they finally understand that they should like me back. And it's that hope. The hope that maybe today you'll finally do something funny to make them laugh, or wear something cute that makes them look at you longer, or somehow make them understand your worth. That's the hope that prevents you from moving on. But here's what happens when you wait too long. You start to wonder, maybe there's something wrong with me. You may even start to change the way you look or the way that you act, with the hope that doing so will finally make them see you for who you are. But at that point, I need to ask, are they the ones who think you're not good enough, or are you? You see, not everyone's gonna like you. But here's the good news. Not everyone needs to like you. There's only one person in the entire world to whom you need to prove your worth. It's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's not Kumo, it's not your friends, it's not your teacher, and it's certainly not that one person who doesn't like you back. And who knows? You might be so busy trying to please that one person, you'll actually miss the other one who's been hoping you'd turn your head and look at them for once. Mogo?